Now to get into a detail, we would like to know that what are the different types of customer that we usually deal with, or what do we have? Okay. So we have internal and external customer. I think we have already discussed that last time. And we have the regulatory as well. Internal customers and external customers. What is the difference? External customers are the ones who are using our end services, who's not providing that service to anybody else. They are the last one who are using that services. So likewise, we are also consumer when we're using any sort of utility service like Airtel, Vodafone, maybe when we use Amazon, Netflix, etc. So we are the external customers. And internal customers are the ones who are probably using that output as an input to some other customer or not. So likewise, in the organization, we have different functions. We have HR function, we have facilities, we have transport, we have IT functions. So those are your internal customers. That's kind of a different function within the organization. Those are our internal customers. So when we do different projects within the team, we have different cross-functional teams. Those are also our internal customers. And why we are discussing this here now? Because when we work on the project, it is not only a responsibility of that particular function. So for example, if anybody of you belongs to a finance department, okay, and you see there is an opportunity in the finance department as only, wherein you see that there's a problem with the reconciliation, okay, or there could be a problem with the invoice processing. Now it is not only finance department will be able to resolve the problem. You would require a lot of internal customers. You might require customers from the procurement team. You might require customer from operations team. You might require customer from sales team. So without their support or without their alignment, I would like to emphasize on the word alignment, not support, because alignment is a kind of a win-win support, wherein if they also agree to that goal and you also agree to that goal, then only that goal would be fulfilled. So we'll talk about how to do that, what are the best ways to get the alignment done in the upcoming slide. So that's how we talk about the internal and external customer. There's another type of customer which is kind of a regulatory. So likewise, in insurance, we have IIDI, in telecom, we have TRAI, in health, we have WHO. So likewise, every sort of industry has a regulatory. Can someone tell me why regulatory is considered as a customer here? Just anybody, any guesses, or if you're sure, please speak up. Why do you think regulatory can be a customer also?
So similar, because regulatory, like, because I work for one of such regulatory company where we conduct compliance audits, etc. So all the companies which has certain identity across the globe, it should adhere to certain guidelines, and that's globally accepted. Like if you talk about SOX or such practice which all the accounting companies should adhere to. So regulatory is something which by default comes from the picture when there is some sort of transactional practice being done by the company. So that's the reason it's a customer.
Or audits, or we do have audits.
Yeah, audits or regulatory compliance. Yeah.
So when we have the auditors, the external auditors visiting us, they do, I would say, review the performance of a particular process basis the agreed standard process, right? So I guess that's the reason why we do take, or we are considering regulatory as a customer here.
I got your answer, but my question is, when we talk about the Six Sigma side of the world, or though I haven't explained it yet to you guys, but so far what we have understood, so far what logical minds that we applied so far, why do you think regulatory can be part of any sort of project? Why do we consider regulatory to be part of any project, or why do we consider that into consideration? So that is my simple question. What do you think?
So that
maybe whatever solution we have, right, or we are trying to implement, has to be aligned with the standards that are being standard process being defined.
Yes, absolutely. Some solutions, some suggestions, some clarifications, some comments that we have to take. Okay, So which we will discuss in the upcoming slides. But just understand regulatories are very, very important because they are the ones who are providing the guidelines. So if we don't follow them as a customer, we don't want to do anything which is not something which should adhere to, which we should not conform to. So that's why we always take that into consideration. There are many projects that I have seen where the regulatories are also part of the projects. Okay, it's a big scale project done at a chain level. Okay, so I worked for I done a project for Taj Hotels. Okay, and I done a project for insurance as well, wherein we have taken the regulatory bodies, IRDI, and when we did for hotel, we took the Food Corporation of India as well in the project. So just this is just a good to know information because you would be black belt professionals very soon. So I just want to give you that perspective that when the projects are being done, they are the ones who will always be looked at. They are the ones who will always be consulted as well. Okay. So I would move to the next one. So as I said, in the defined phase, we looked at the critical to quality. Okay. What is critical to quality? That we should always know that. Critical to quality is something which is a prime most focus for a given customer or for a given process. There are certain specification limits. And what is specification limit? Anything which is stated by the customer. Okay. Any specific specification limit which my customer wants, if that is being fulfilled, that is my customer looking for. So we'll take certain examples to make you understand what is CTQ. So if Simarpreet as a customer walk into a hotel, okay. So my CTQ is that I want a room which has a huge balcony and a room which has a place where I can relax, where I can walk freely. Okay. So do you think this is my CTQ? Do you think it's a good example of a CTQ while looking at this definition?
Simarpreet, can you repeat it because your voice was lost in between?
Okay, my voice was lost in between, so I'll try.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. The definition of CTQ is the measurable characteristic of a product or a process, where the specification limit must be met to satisfy the customer need. That's what we call it as a CTQ, or the customer to quality. So likewise, I said when I check into a hotel and I said my specification limit is that I want a place where I can roam properly. I want a place where there should be a balcony. Do you think this is my critical to quality? Is it a good definition of critical to quality?
No.
Okay.
No.
So, okay.
That is up to your requirement. If you're not thinking about the food, if you're thinking about the place, the relaxation,
there is no specification
that is one of
limits.
the characters that you.
There is no specification limits also.
So I did not specify. I did not specify in measurable format that what do I looking for. I said I place where I can roam properly. I did not mention the length. I did not mention the area where I can roam properly. Okay. I did not mention that it should be a relaxed place also. If I walk up to a hotel and I say that I just want a hot tea, I did not mention that what should be the quantity of it. That is not my CTQ. So therefore, in order to meet the customer specifications, it is always important that we should be able to identify the measurable characteristic of a product or a process, and then only we would be able to meet the customer requirement. And how CTQ is linked to the project, that we will talk about now. CTQs are basically like your project matrix. Okay, matrix are the ones which we always work on, which are the critical requirement of your organization, critical requirement of your customers. It could be right first time, it could be cycle time, it could be less errors, it could be anything. But until and unless I don't know the measurable quantity of it, I would not be able to provide that to the customer. So while working in the defined phase for any given opportunity. So let's take an example. Tomorrow your CEO tells that I want to improve the customer satisfaction. Would you be able to do it without asking any question? Would you be able to work on this opportunity? So it's like a voice of business. Okay, your CEO says, I want to improve the productivity or I want to improve the customer satisfaction. Do you think you would be able to work on that opportunity right away?
No, of course not. It's very vague.
Okay, it is very vague. It is very vague. So likewise, when we comment on the projects, we should clearly know that what are those CTQs. Okay, so now we just discussed as a critical to quality. Now we will discuss customer CTQ. So customer CTQs are customer need and expectation. It is something which customer is primarily focusing on, where the customer says, I don't care about how many employees do you have. I don't care about how far my place is from your office. If I want the services to be delivered within 30 minutes, likewise when we order pizza, okay, when we're so hungry and we say we want the pizza in 30 minutes, if Domino's says that, I'm facing some technical issue, there is a lot of queue in between, there are a lot of customers who are asking for it, my delivery boy is not there. Me as a customer, if I'm not generous, okay, if I need it right away, I don't care about the organization CTQ or the normal CTQ. So that's why it is very, very important to understand what is CTQ as a whole and what is the customer CTQ. So when we do the projects, when we look at those opportunities, we as a leader or a project coordinator should know that whether we are focusing on customer CTQ or project CTQ or a CTQ only. So that is a very, very important thing which you should know before we proceed further. Because unless, no matter how great resources you have, how great team you have, unless we don't know what my customer is looking for in a measurable format, I would not be able to work on that opportunity. So that's why we are in define phase only. We are defining the problem, and before even defining the problem, I would like to know that what is that problem where I would be, which I would be defining. So I am at a 0 stage right now. I'm probably looking at what my customer is saying, and I'm just converting my VOC into CTQ. Any question anybody has?